So there are a whole lot of things which are service calls for us. So that's all enabled on the tablet. So if your customer were enabled through a kiosk or tablet, it's a way to capture the demand and execute it, right? So anytime a franchisee calls up and requests for something is an incident that gets registered in the customer service, or they can use their tablet to request for something, and that's anywhere registered again, right? So you're tracking everything. So I would say for a cartridge kind of a business where there's a replacement refill that is needed, you know your customer, when was the last refill that has gone out. You can obviously track that. You can have the customer obviously log that in and you can execute it. So there are parts of our business which we are anyway doing which is similar to refilling the cartridge.
In fact, I know.
Is different from the person ordering the cartridge. So, is the service team integrated within the e-commerce? That's the issue.
See, obviously they're all remote, right? The customer service team is sitting wherever. In our case, they sit in Ahmedabad. How does that matter? Does not matter, right? All the calls, whether it's a chat or a phone call, all of that is queuing in to the customer service person. Or on the tablet, you can obviously request something. So whichever way, we will execute that request back to the franchisee or to the customer, right? So I think from a technology perspective, I think you can do a lot. I think we should leave it there. There is a huge amount that you can really do there.
So I think maybe you clarify your question. You're saying is when you say service in terms of customer service?
Yeah.
So
going on-site and delivering a service for the product that you sold earlier.
Yeah.
E-commerce or e-commerce.
Okay, so in your case, let's say it's a cartridge, and excuse me for my ignorance at how it gets delivered. So let's say if it's a salesman on a call or serviceman on a call. So one of the big things which you sometimes wonder in a service delivery which is distributed is that people lie. So he says that he's delivering and he's somewhere else, right? So the tablet ensures if it's a 3G enabled tablet, we can drop a bomb on his third hair, right? That's the accuracy with which we know. So it starts from there. The second is that you can create an entire protocol for service delivery, which he needs to follow, and potentially also create some kind of a digital signature mechanism by which a customer also closes that call saying, I'm satisfied or I'm closing this entire deal. So is that very difficult? As a technologist, I'll say no. It is easily doable. So it's trackable, it's on-site doable, and it is closable from a last perspective, from a service delivery perspective.
Okay, my name is Sachin Deshpande. I represent Innovash Technologies. My question is regarding Big Bazaar Direct, right? So I just want to know, you already have a first rollout in Maharashtra, right? So what are the learnings from that? That is one question. And second thing is that what is the segregation of responsibilities you have with franchises and as a Big Bazaar as a group, right? So one is, which you have talked about, is a customer service, right? So wherein the franchise is being, they are your partners, right? The ultimate sale would happen through them. And the other challenge, which like here you are saying enabling the sale wherein a franchise is going to go to a particular home and going to sell, right? It's a door-to-door kind of a selling. So in terms of, let's say, some people would not like to invade into their privacy, or certain times they don't want it to be contacted, right? I'm talking about the real challenge, right? So what kind of things you had this in that?
Yeah, so the first point on we are only in a pilot at this time. Vidarbha is where we did the pilot. In terms of learnings, there is a huge amount of learnings. What did we learn? Not anything that we did not know, right? So I would say for the next 6 to 9 months, we would still be in a learning phase. So cannot really share, this, what we want to learn is what we don't know, right? We have been doing retailing for quite some time. What we have to learn is to figure out how do we make the franchisee productive. Like I said, that's a new skill set, new competency that the organization is hiring, or rather acquiring, right? So our learnings has been largely related to that. I don't think there's anything around technology that we could not have thought through. There's nothing of that nature that has come through. But customers and franchises would teach us a lot in the next 6 to 9 months. But the model is not what you just said, right? We leave it to the franchises to decide how they want to do. It's not necessarily door to door. There are huge amount of opportunities for people in the localities to do sale without going door to door, right? The model is about whether you are a salesman who know how to network with people, right? So we say you should be having 500 odd customers that you are repeat selling to. You don't need to be doing door to door. You have relationship and you built a network. You should be able to sell very, very easily without intruding into anybody's privacy, because the product is very strong, the brand is very strong, and that's the premise. Otherwise, the model anyway is going to fail, right? So it's not going to be aggressive selling. You don't need to do aggressive selling. The product is there, the value is there. And the model is about, these guys are order booking people. There is no licenses, nothing, no VAT chat, nothing. These are people who are booking orders. Everything else is between the customer and BP Direct, right? So customer service, doing supply chain and all of that.
One last question. No, we're just hitting 1:30.
Hi, I'm Nishad. I have a concern because let's say we have a website, right? And I'm having an application. Amazon, one of the biggest sellers. I mean, I've been in abroad for almost 7 years. So I've practically got my shoes Amazon. I've got my clothes Amazon. Because I don't have time to go shopping and do things. So what is the need and what is the difference between e-commerce? Why would I go to e-commerce and not have my website go mobile? Because let's say I'm having a mobile phone. It's limited to my operating system, Android. But if you have it on a browser, it's open source. No matter what computer you have Linux, you have any operating system, it will open for you.
Yeah. So, Nishad, I don't think it is about technology. So the technology people build is anyway going to be form factor or operating system agnostic. I don't think that's a challenge. So that takes care of that part of it. But then why would people go .com and mobile is something we'll have to wait and see. I can tell you a few reasons. We cannot claim to say unless a model is successful, we'll never know whether it works or not. It's about assisted selling. It's about trust. We believe that India, with 1.2 crore Indians, we believe that at least 50% of them would possibly have apprehensions to buy online. But if there is a trusted person who has used and promoted something, the chances of that sale happening is very, very high. Then there is a whole aspect of cash on delivery. There is a whole aspect of the transaction part and all of that, right? There are, so because the model itself is very new, I cannot get too much into details of how we want to pursue it. We see a very, very strong reason, right? But any model, any strategy can fail. So we'll have to review it, like I've always said, April, May, June timeframes and see whether it is work. But we believe it's going to hugely work, at least in the tier 2, tier 3 towns. In the urban segment, there are people like Nishad who would be very, very comfortable doing that, and we will have a .com model. You can shop, you have the Omni thing, you can shop .com, you can come to a store, pick it up, come to the store, do the kiosk, do it on the kiosk and have it completed online. That all thing anyway people will do, right? But there are a whole lot of apprehensive Indians who want little more comfort, and that's what we're trying to do.
That's very right, but when I look at it, I mean, let's say when you say target markets, it is going to be a 10-year-old kid who can also order from your site because you're Big Bazaar. He will want a toy, and there'll be an 80-year-old man, whatever he wants. So you can't target market saying that this is going to be that, right? Because
we are not doing that. This is one part of our omni-channel strategy. We are not limiting ourselves to doing this. This is the only way. If customers don't like it, we change. We have built, like we have said, worst case, what do we leave, what are we left with? What we are left with is a fantastic technology platform and a fantastic supply chain execution B2C capability. We use it for something else. So, no, we are not hung up on it. We are not saying this is the only way of doing it. I've always said this is, I started my statement saying that this is one part of our omni-channel strategy, and this is a little tougher part of it. Let's attempt this part, and then we'll go, doing .com. Is it not that? It's slightly easier, right? So we do all of that, nothing works, do .com. Do very
because eventually the cost of the company is high. When you invest, you at least say you have 100,000 franchisees, 100,000 tablets. You're investing more money than you're making out in at least first 3 years.
Not true. People who do retailing, you will have to do some more detailing on that. Setting up a store is hugely costly. There is a whole lot of inventory. There is 8 to 10 weeks of inventory sitting in the store. There is a huge amount of fixtures, AC, there is that huge amount of cost that goes into a store. There is no way that we can reach 60 crores Indians, right? We have around 240 brick and mortar store. For us to reach 60 crore would need around 900 stores. There is no way. I don't think anybody can afford it. Might be there are a few very, very deep-pocketed companies in this world, right, who might be able to do it. It's not going to work that way. It's very difficult. But see, This is a strategy, right? Execution and what comes out of it, we'll have to wait and see, right? So we are going after it. We hope, we are very passionate about it. We are going after it. We'll see how it goes.
Wish you good luck with that.
One last question. We have a minute.
None?
I have an observation from the franchisee's point of view, and that is the tendency of the people, of the consumer buyer, is to feel and then buy. And tablet commerce or m-commerce or e-commerce will provide you with the feature of look and buy. So while these franchisees are out in the market to sell, ultimately chances are that they'll collect information and then probably the benefit of the sale would be in the store at the end of the day. So how does the tablet commerce, T-commerce, could reconcile this difference?
It's time on the grey market.
See, it's not, it's the same for online. So let's first contrast it with online, right? So you cannot, I don't know whether you guys are aware that footwear is the largest selling category online in this country, which was so difficult to sort of understand, right?
I'm sorry to interrupt. My concern is from the point of view of franchisee who is investing money, who is investing money for franchisee, and then he's going out in the market to sell. Now, what the benefits that he is expected to arrive from sales point of view is ultimately, because I do it myself. I've interacted with few others and same story that we collect information from the sites and then finally land up in Chroma or go to Infinity Mall and then get the final product. So from a franchisee's point of view, who is investing, who is doing that work to sell, and as you rightly mentioned, all and other things is directly between your company and the customer.
Correct.
So these mediators, I feel, are at a loss. So how would you reconcile and how would you justify this business model?
Yeah. So first and foremost, I would say don't underestimate the entrepreneur, franchisee. He's way smarter than retailers, right? They will come up with strategies that you won't even dream about, right? So franchisees who have put their money in you have already figured out how they're going to sell some of the stuff, right? They are not doing this as experiments. They have figured out something. They're putting their hard-earned money into this system. The second thing is there are certain customers who prefer reach of, they need the human touch. In jewelry, at least for us, our retail sort of reach is limited by organized retail and of course our franchisee stores. There are places that we for 240 stores and we are not even half of the stores that we have. There's no possible way we'll reach that customer anyway. So when you talk about that person going to a store, the nearest store might be in the next city, right? So I think that's a vastly overestimated sort of a problem, right? I think the bigger problem is people who are complaining is store mein dekh ke online kharid rahe. That is actually the bigger use case that we are seeing, is what they're worried about. But the franchisees, I would say, to give them credit, they're incredibly smart people, and our franchisees can outdo us in selling products that we won't be able to sell online. They have access to products that even if they go to a store, even if they figure out this product, there is no guarantee that product will be in that store. So this franchisee is actually, sitting with that person. We have now had franchisees who are now helping the customer to design the jewelry as well. They make these small design and they send me a photo and say, can you make this and send it to me? So they're customizing. In a store, it's incredibly hard. Stores are not exactly the places where all of these things seem to happen. So for us, these use cases, the franchisee has worked out fairly well.
One last question. You said the franchisee basically would help people gain more confidence to buy online, basically, or rather without touch and feel scenario. As more and more times the transaction happens with those respective group or rather the customers that a particular franchisee might be, kind of indulging in, These guys, once they become confident, I think would want to migrate to e-com, and probably, it would be more a challenge to continuously add more and more new people for franchisee or maybe, develop. So eventually you are creating a set of people who are going to be more tech savvy and feeling more comfortable and indulging in e-com rather than sticking to t-com, so to say.
Might be. All of what people say might happen, right? So we are going with a single thing about the customers will teach us, the franchises will teach us. I just put a last point on what Nishant said. Guys, just understand that this is an entrepreneur. We are missing a huge point on how an entrepreneur can work with 500 customers, drive loyalty. Hey, you are making money. Can you not share money? Why would they not buy from you? No. See, it might fail, but there are huge reasons why you will buy from the franchise. There are 1,000 reasons why you would buy from the franchise, provided this franchise is a really trusted guy. He's out to fleece. He's out not. There is a huge power in front of this franchisee. At least we believe that it is. There are huge reasons why he will not go to a store. He will be buying through. There are so many reasons why he do that.
Franchisee, end of the day, basically only sales.
Yeah.
Quality, deliverance, customer service. All things are basically taken care at your end, isn't it? I mean, if there is a lack there, franchise's business will still be affected.
Yeah, so that's a hygiene. That's something that's it done. But the discussion on why people would go .com versus, that's what I'm contrasting. But yeah, if you don't have a product to sell, you will not have a model. The assumption is you have a product which people like, you have a service, in a commitment which customers like. Having said that, you are saying that franchisee, after some time, people will move away from the franchise. I'm saying there's a huge reason why they would not move away from the franchisee, right? If they don't like the model, that's different. I'm sure there would be somebody else who will come with a product and the service that customers like. See, we're talking about a concept. It's not about we direct, right? The concept on using franchisees, using mobile commerce, using ability to reach out to people who are still not that comfortable. There is a trust and assisted selling. We believe it is likely to work. Jury's out there, we'll see.